So, good morning, Christian.
Hi, good morning, Martin.
How is it to have your name as part of the company?
This is a good question. In many cases, I think it just helps to identify with this company. And you know, if I take the bicycle and come in the morning here, I see the letters. I would say, wow, this is really a large company. Even I know this company since I was born. But of course, there are some times where I have, there's some challenges to be done in this company. So we had also harder times in the history. Then it can also be say, hey, you're in some way responsible for that, and you're standing with your name for that. So it can be go in both directions.
I mean, yesterday when you welcomed at the event that we had here at IST UV Days, I can't remember if it was you or it was Tim that spoke about the potential of LED UV and the growth potential. That opens up a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have this is a really big changing thing in industry. I think you can compare a little like on the automotive industry from the gasoline-driven or gas-driven engines to the battery-driven. I think there's also a big change going on, and what we could see is there is a change, and there's some early adapters that are really keen on changing it, but the majority is changing very slow because they want to do it very consciously. And for us, it's important to have a look at both things, you know, to be aware, hey, there's a change going on, we need to do some pre-developments, but on the hand side, you have to look what's the majority of people are doing, you know, and I think we should be.
The reason I was talking about it is because being a company that has, your family name in it, it was founded by your ancestors, right? It is just like, it must also be some kind of big responsibility for a young man to take it to the next level, right?
Yes, sure. But I think you learn faster when you step in shoes that are obviously larger than your feet, but then you learn faster, and you do mistakes. But I think doing mistakes are allowed, and as long as you learn something about it, and I think this is what we did so far. And we also do mistakes as everyone in the world, but you can then have the opportunity to learn faster, and yeah.
I remember I spoke to one of your colleagues, Volker, at some event in Munich, maybe half a year ago, something like that. And I think he said to me, as far as I remember, or it was maybe also Harley, it was either two. They said that when you look at curing, for example, I mean, mercury has been on the market for a long time, and maybe is the end of its development right now. And then LED is in the beginning of the development curve. So how is it? Because that requires a lot of engineering, it requires a lot of research actually to find out how it actually works, right?
Yeah, you know the output is somehow UV, of course, with a different bandwidth. So it's the first thing you have to be aware when it's about doing the perfect application. But producing UV light with LED is totally different than producing UV light with a bulb. And for us, it's never been a question also to do it with a LED, but we had to realize that's totally different because you need different parts, the sourcing is different, also the electricity going in, so there are many different things. And I think for a traditional company like ours, it is a challenge, but also it's solvable because we have people that are really keen on doing this with the new technology.
And also again from the presentation yesterday, I mean, the number of installed systems you have in the world, I mean, are you the biggest in the market for LED and UV curing, or how do you see
I don't
that?
have the actual numbers at hand, but I see when it's about LED and also conventional UV, I think IST is a strong brand, and people come to us and asking, hey, what's going on? Is my application now ready for LED UV or not? And we are happy to answer those questions honestly. And sometimes we have to say, yeah, there will LED in future for you, but right now you need a powerful source which comes from conventional UV. And
so that depends very much on the applications, of course.
It's always about application.
Yeah.
At the end, it's the result that counts, and there's a specific and distinct tool you need to have, and sometimes the question can be answered very easily. You can say, yes, LED is great for you, or conventional, or both. I think this questions, answers.
So the opportunities are there for growth, basically. Right?
There's growth going on, of course. Yeah, I think Tim demonstrated very, very well. We have that growth potentials everywhere in the world, and that includes both conventional UV as also LED UV, and we have to be in both markets present. Because we can only be a good advisor if we know to play both games.
And you do that?
We do that.
Yeah, of course, right? So, Christian, I mean, the family has brought you here. Was that like something that you knew from when you were a kid, or is that something that has like formulated more and more into how your career path has developed?
Yeah, no, this is like my second living room, of course. Yeah, there's so many pictures in my photo album where I'm somehow involved in the company. You're playing somewhere at the construction site when the new building is built up. Yeah, of course, this is a family-owned company, and there's no other foreign investor or shareholder in there. It's still until now, so companies exist in more than 40 years right now. And we have that, how's it called, foundation, which is also 100% privately owned, so there's no one from outside that is having the shares. And for myself, yeah, of course, I think I did the normal journey as a young person did, you know. There was a strong ties to the company my grandfather did with me, and then you have that phase where you say, no, I don't want to do anything with this company because I do my own stuff, and then you do something different in your education, but at the end I realized it's a good opportunity and to come back here to Nürtingen. I never thought I will be back really here, because in this town I was born, and I was really far away, and now I'm back since 10 years. But I don't regret it at all, and I'm happy to be here to help the company grow further. And
have you? So when you were in that, let's say, period of life where you were like, oh no, I'm not going to be part of this. Did you take an education completely different direction, and did you work different places, or how have your career developed so far?
Yeah, definitely. I have an engineering a degree, but it's not really cool. Yeah, but
okay.
It's totally different. So I have a German diploma engineer in architecture. So I learned architecture. And also beside that, I did a business diploma as well. So this is something, for me personally, this blend of education is very helpful, even here. Of course, we don't do really architecture, but there's so many things, some methods you can do very well to solve problems, even in this very technical-driven company. So I don't regret my study career, my educational career, even though architecture is not really that thing that fits you very well, obviously. But in the background, I would say, yeah, it was really helpful, and don't regret it.
Maybe you say so, but I can't help think about, this is my first time with IST, right? And when I see both the way that you, for example, this meeting room that we're recording in right now, or the bistro that you called, right? Or if you also, yesterday we were filming one of your customers for the design of your machine. I mean, maybe you're not directly involved in it, but it has some kind of aesthetics, even for something that is industrial, right?
Yeah.
Does it play a role when you sell a product that, even for an industrial product, that it looks great?
Yeah, as long as it's within in a cost frame, I would say, then it's totally fine. And I think it's always good to have to bring both into an attractive looking product that gives you a certain trust that it's also working and productive. But at the end, it must work and must be price competitive. And if we bring both worlds together, I think that's the best trade we can do.
As you already mentioned, your grandfather started this, and then your father was also involved in it, right?
Yes, slightly. So I think we have my whole company involved, more or less. But I think looking back the last 10 years, so my generation bring the most continuity into this company from the family side. So, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the past, it was quite normal that family took over family companies. When you look at your own, I mean, not your future right now because you're still a young man, but do you still think it can continue being a private held company, and with maybe your kids taking over at some point, or how do you see that?
Well, I think it's a parent's mission to open doors for kids and to present what's their options. That's why we're taking care that they're good in school. I think when they're good in school, they have the wider choice of what they're doing. Yeah. And of course, I want to get them in touch with the company, and maybe there's opportunity that they can go earn some money for an apprenticeship, or helping out someone, and then they're getting in touch voluntarily. I don't want to force them to go in, but of course, I would be happy to have someone. I have 3 daughters, that have some of them that really interested in engaging here in the company.
And still, because we're talking to Tim in just after we talked to you. And I can't help think about it. It must also, like when you have a family driven and operated company, and you used to be in Tim's shoes, so to speak, right? It is also because like sometimes to hand over the steering of this ship to somebody outside from the family. I mean, how was that decision? Is that something that the company has tried before, or has it always been managed by the Metz family? Or
There has always been people that have managed a company which are not part of the family, but I think the secret is that you're being close to those who are in charge, but not controlling them. I think it's best is that you're somehow close and you understand what's going on, but being as a sparringspartner, you know, that we can giving us advice to each other. And I don't want to be a shareholding person that's just getting things reported, because this is like how we say. Monodirectional. I want to be always in contact and delivering also valuable things to Tim, as well as I'm happy if Tim is telling me what's going on with the company. And so my daily work is not staying at home and waiting if a report is coming up. I'm here in the company for at least 2 days per week. I have so many other things to do. You know, I'm also in the charge of the shareholder for all our subsidiaries and also the other companies here in Nürtingen. I'm in close contact with the managing directors.
And talking about the other IST family, I mean, you have, I think it's during the past year you have been through a rebranding process of making sure that all of the companies have the IST name in it, right? The synergies between the companies and how you actually get things going. How easy, how difficult is that? I mean, that's a people thing, right?
Well, it's a people thing. We must be sure that we have a certain readiness, that when it's about changing the brand or a name, that also the people behind it are happy with that and understand. And once we have that feeling, I think then it's ready to get a company renamed. We had it recently with IST InTech, located in the UK, formerly ITL or Integration Technology. But we are pretty sure that the brand IST also can stand for the digital world as a reliable brand. And I think the transfer from here to the digital world is not that far, that we can use that brand IST also to them. And it's somehow giving identity for the whole group of companies.
I also think that the reason why it, in my mind, makes a lot of sense is obviously because if you look at your customers, I mean, they are in the digital transformation. So they use hybrids today, right? I mean, you have both analog and digital and everything in let's say in one under one roof, basically, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense. How easy is it to get? Because I mean, if people working in a company have an identity based on their work, and then somebody is changing that one, is that does it have any negative impact in any way, or is it just a matter of getting used to it?
I think it's a matter which people are getting in touch of this challenge. For some of them it's a chance, for some of them it's a threat. I think that I don't want to say I can really classify people. I think that's not fair. But I think in this question you can really say there are people that more feel threatened if elementary change are coming, and some people are really taking this as a chance. And I think when it's about really changing a name or bringing some other technology in, you should bring into play that really that people are keen on having challenges and make the best out of it. And yeah.
Okay. So Christian, who are you? I mean, who are you as a person?
What do you want to hear?
I mean,
I'm 41.
You got the three daughters, you told me. So
Okay.
you have a wife, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you live here in Nürtingen.
Yes.
Spare time, cooking,
Okay.
films. What do you like?
Yeah. What do you like? So I think family time is the most valuable. I try to have it as much as possible. Right now the kids are really loving playing soccer or football and tennis and other sports. So our job and my wife is in the weekend just to driving kids to the sports club back and forth.
So you're looking forward to self-driving cars so they can be taken.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Just putting the kids in here. You type in soccer club Nürtingen and goes on. No, but I think kids are playing a great role in my wife's and my life. So for my personal interests, I have a light sport aircraft license since about 15 years. So I'm really lacking hours. I would love to fly more, but when the time allowing, I try to go on the airfield as much as I can and do flying. So that's why I do.
Must be fun.
It's great. It's best. Yeah.
Does it give you a sense of freedom?
Definitely, definitely. And sometimes when the weather is great and it's not, you know, with this plane you may not fly so high, but sometimes you have the cloud layer a little lower, and then you can fly top of the clouds. And then normally you have a headset, have a really good one. You can also attach an MP3 player on it or an iPhone, and then you put some music on it, and that's really cool. Yeah.
And then you're just by yourself.
Yeah, great. Yeah. You're landing as another. I wouldn't say you're landing as another person then, but it's really, yeah. I think everybody should have their own way to relax and how to say? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and I'm intrigued by it because I think that actually, one of the things I also realized during the UV days here is that your management team is same age as you, and I guess that the freedom that the plane gives you, they hopefully have something that drives them also in that where you get your inspiration from, and so you just don't get that work overload all the time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. The future. I mean, how does it look for you, both personally but also from a business perspective? I mean, when you look at IST and the companies that you have today, are you in acquisition mode, or is it organic growth, or where do you see, or are you even considering going public at some point? Or I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in the market, right?
Yeah, as I think I belong also to those people that see changes on the horizon as an opportunity and a challenge in a positive manner.
That's how I feel with you, that you have that positive to change as well, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think life is full of possibilities, and I think also my team has the same perspective, and that's why it's easy to look at opportunities, to realize is it suitable for IST to go in or not, and if we decide so, we take the measurements to make some things bring into reality. Yeah. Regarding organic growth or not, I think.
Is it again like if the opportunity is there maybe, and if it's not, then it's whatever takes you to the next stage, or?
So we are in touch with many people as we can see here live at UV days, and of course there are some talks about chances and things you rather should not do, and I don't want to say that we're not open for anything. So we're open for that, but yeah, as you can hear, I think this is really internal strategy. If there's something coming up, we have to talk about that. But right now, there are no.
I didn't expect to get any secrets, but I was just thinking, sometimes it's like some companies, they can grow to a certain level with private equity or private money, right? And at some point, sometimes people need to go and see if they can get further funding, because sometimes developing new technologies, new products gets more and more expensive, right?
Yeah, okay. But yeah, well, looking at the company's history, I would say IST is not the most reactive one that takes M&A processes as their standard business model. There are some other companies in the branch that are way more active. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we not have the fitness to do so. I think we do it very consciously if there are questions coming up like that, and then it can happen. Sure, but let's see.
And if you have been in the sky flying your plane and you get a good idea, you can execute on it, right?
Yeah, taking someone with me that is possibly taking a deal with me then.
Fantastic.
Negotiating the price, if he's not fine, I do like this.
Yeah. You take a 360 and then basically see what happens. Amazing. Well, I think it was great talking to you. So, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, maybe some words about my team. I just don't realize that we really are a really good and great management team. I wouldn't say it doesn't really belong to our more or less same age, but I think that's also a commitment to the future. I think most of our management team has an age around 40. We have some senior people that are really helpful to don't go in every mistake, so they can tell us, hey, we already tested it 20 years ago.
So did it hurt when I yesterday said to you that I thought that you were an old man with a stock?
But there's this thing, it's always what I said, stepping in shoes that are obviously too large, too big for you. It's still not normal that you have someone with 40 years that is taking the lead.
You are early in your professional career, right? I mean, so I guess that people have ambitions and they can work many hours if they need to, and I mean, basically all those things are important part of growing the company, right?
But for me, I see it as a present. Yeah, I've 10 to 15 years more to develop this company and hopefully in the right direction, and that's why we have to take the opportunity also even in these younger years.
I have one thing I would like to ask you about. I said that I didn't want to talk too much about IST UV days, but since we're here and we're in the middle of the UV days, I have a few questions about it, more in a general perspective. What does it mean for you as an owner to see so many people coming in, both on the exhibitor side but also on the visiting side? I mean, isn't that just isn't just incredible? Or?
So before the pandemic, I would say we were more used to it because we had this more frequently. I think UV Days was every 2 years. Then you have different trade shows. We have Drupa, and now there was really, let me say, a time for all of us, which you haven't really been in contact with so many people. We have been really nervous on Monday. We are saying, "Oh God, so many people are coming. Can we handle this?" We have to learn it again. Yeah. But I think after yesterday, we're back in the game and happy to welcome all those people. I think we're fine with that.
And you met some people, new people, or was it only good old friends?
I think it's a good blend. So I think it's a large, as I told it yesterday, I think it's a large family with really friendly people. And many of them know each other, and then some new people coming into the family, some are leaving or coming back 10 years later. So it's fun to see, and yeah, even though I don't know everyone's names, I can remember their faces and say, hey, I saw you again. I saw you already a couple of years ago, yeah.
Must be nice.
It's great, it's a great family. Also, Tim reported to me, he has lots of experience in other branches, other industries, and what he is really still surprised that with the friendliness and openness of the people from this branch, or from this field of industry, and he's still amazed about that. That's what he's reporting to me yesterday.
Fantastic.
So great to talk to you.
Thank you, likewise.